Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is official. Friday, the 30th of January, and this morning we're going to be doing a warm-up, of course, but it is significant because this is the last day of the animal warm-ups. So I will be segueing over starting on Monday to cartoon characters. We're talking Disney, Hanna-Barbera, Warner Brothers, Illuminations. We're going to be doing classic characters, modern characters, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned and visit with me on Monday. So today we're going to be drawing something that I think I really enjoy. Of course, I mentioned in the previous video I am a birder, meaning I have an affinity for all things birds. I like fish too, so I think it's the simple shapes, right? And also the character and the attitudes birds bring to the equation. So we're going to be drawing some penguins today. Penguins! Let's get started. Just to do a review, yesterday we did field mice. Previous to that, we did some hummingbirds, panda bears, koala bears. I love that picture right there. Koala bears. Then previous to that, we did wombats. And then raccoons. You get the picture. Some bears, some hippos, three-toed sloths. Sloths, I love that picture. Some gorillas. Gorilla. I love gorillas. Of course, elephants, some of my faves. Elephants, otters, river otters, so on and so forth. Some doggies. Had a great time doing those. But today, for our last animal drawing of the series, penguins. Why did I choose penguins? First of all, I love penguins. They're fun. Penguins are fun. Not just because they're unique, but because they're cool. I like penguins in general, not just because of their color scheme and they look like they're wearing little tuxedos. I do like that, by the way. I have a doggy. He looks like he's wearing a tuxedo. And yeah, I just like, I mean, you guys know, if you've been with me for a while, you guys know that I love animals. I love watching documentaries. I love drawing animals. They are a challenge, just like everything else that I draw. Let's go ahead and flip this around. Just like about everything else I draw. I have a challenge. I am challenged with drawing in general because it's always been hard for me. And I was explaining it to my wife actually this morning. Don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but it's hard to describe. It's almost like a constant fuzz in my brain. It's like static, and then I have a high-pitched sound, which is like a whine or something along the lines of a ring, like a beep, constantly happening. And of course I went to the doctor. Blah, 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 doctor. They're like, let's run some tests. It'll only be $4,000. That's it, $4,000, and then we'll tell you what we think, and then we'll want another $5,000, $6,000 to treat you. And at the end of the day, the tendonitis, so I have tendonitis in my jaw, TMJ, and that causes some issues. And I'm like, well, there's a couple things I can do. I believe I can get an operation for that. But I'm like, well, let's try some of the natural things first, right? Natural. Let's try the vitamins. Let's try losing some weight. Let's try some other things, because a lot of times the things that we think it is caused by a lot of the other things that we do. And at the end of the day, I have been able to manage some of that ring and the fuzz in my head. Fuzz in my head might be just because of my alien brethren that are calling me home, and I'm like, I don't want to go home yet. I like it here on Earth. And yeah, so that's what I deal with constantly. And drawing is a challenge for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at when you really think about it. But penguins aren't that hard because they're simple shapes. Again, I'm trying to keep things simple for you guys. Not because I think you're simple, but because I need that simplicity in my life, especially in the morning. Drawing every morning grounds me. There is no... Let's see, let's go do this. We'll do... It grounds me, meaning it gives me focus. Stay focused. And I really need that, especially now with everything that's going on with family and everything that's going on with work. Of course, right now is Chinese New Year. It'll be starting soon, which is good for me because it actually gives me a little bit of a reprieve from all the production stuff that I have to do pertaining to my job, because the factories in China close, and I put that in quotations because a lot of the workers go home during this time to celebrate the New Year, because if you don't know, the Chinese take New Year very seriously. And I'm sure we do too, but the Chinese really take it super seriously, and they allow their factories to close, and that's a big deal. Part of their culture, which I love. You guys know how I love culture. And every year they designate it to be the year of, and I'm not really sure what this year is. Not sure what this year is. I'd have to look that up. So according to the Google, the Chinese Lunar New Year begins February 17th, 2026 and starts the 15-day spring festival, and it is the year of the fire horse. I don't know what that means. Fire horse. So, year of the fire horse. That's, first of all, that's freaking awesome. Wish I had year of the fire horse. About the closest thing I have is, I think our, whatever it is, your sign, right? You have like Pisces and Aries, and depending on the month you were born, I think if you're born in this year, that's kind of your, kind of like Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter has houses. I'm sure that's similar. J.K. Rowling. But the Chinese have years of, and then of course we have astrology, and I think I'll make houses. So, yeah, Year of the Fire Horse sounds pretty stinking awesome. But, like I had mentioned, the factories close for a bit. Some close a little bit early because it does take time to prep for the festivals. And a lot of the people that are at the factories go home in the more rural parts of China. And yeah, so little indication for you guys of what actually happens as I color in some of these items. So what typically happens for me right before Chinese New Year's hits is we get a game plan as far as what we need to go ahead and get done in that month of February, and what actually happens and what we need to accomplish. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Today and yesterday had a powwow saying you need to get X amount of items done in the month of February because the factories reopen and you need to be ready to roll. But in the meantime, in the month of February, you get a lot of stuff submitted. So a lot of submissions happen in the month of February. Of course, you can't get any pricing quotes approved because the factories are closed. Not really. Some of them, the individuals who run the factories still work, but not at the capacity that they normally would. So what I'm doing right now, of course, you saw me put in the circle, and then I moved on to the body element, and then we just really roughed in like this. This is a rough in right here. I jest because this is a mess. How can anybody look at that and say you understand what's going on there? So again, thinking in terms of shapes, shape language, I know that the feet of a penguin, because I've drawn penguins before, I'm going to do this because there was only 3. 1, 2, 3. They are little triangles. Got to get that weight right. That foot's a little off. That's all right though. We're fine. We're fine. Stop. We're fine. I had the unique opportunity, maybe not unique, but I always say that. Everything I do is unique, haha. But to go and see penguins at a zoo, which they're awesome. I love penguins. They're so social. And some of them, I mean, one of them, I have a picture of him. He was kind of like he was in timeout. He was kind of standing in the corner. I'm like, why are you in timeout, buddy? Of course, he did not answer me. How rude. Just kidding. But it kind of looked like he was in timeout, which was interesting. And then the smell, of course, was terrible because it smells like fish, because they like fish. And it smells like poop because they're surrounded by their dookie. Of course, it does get clean, but it still smells like dookie. So it was like a whole combination of smells and experiences, and I'll never forget it. And every single time I go and I go into a enclosure with penguins, I'm like, okay, get ready. You're going to smell poop and fish. Poop and fish. And that's exactly what I did. Poop and fish. This guy's kind of taking a step and kind of leaning back going, I jest. So yeah, I'm very excited about the next endeavor for this channel, which will be cartoon characters. I think we'll start with a classic character that you guys can recognize. I'm not telling you. You're just gonna have to find out. Show up on Monday. Come and spend some time with me on Monday morning. Yeah. If, of course, we don't get snowed in. They're saying snow, which is interesting. I don't like snow. Not a fan. I like to look at it. It's pretty for about 5 minutes, and then you have to shovel it, get it off your roof, get it out of your driveway, so on and so forth. Right now, just putting a really baseline horizon line to show context of where he may be. And I think that's going to do it for this penguin. We're going to move on to the next one. There's a myriad of different penguins. Your king penguins, there's actually one called a forest penguin, which I thought was fascinating. And I watched a documentary last night in preparation for this. And I watched some penguins because they do mate for life. I watched a couple penguins that they showed in the documentary, and they were battling. Pretty horrendous. And this is number 1. Okay, moving on to drawing numero 2. Why do I do 3 drawings? So, I, unfortunately, am not superhuman. I know. And basically, in the morning, just by experience, I have gained the knowledge and understanding of what it takes for me to kind of warm up. And 3 is un magic number. By number 3, I have a really good feel of what I'm doing, what I need to do, what needs to happen, if I need to go further, blah blah blah. And plus my attention span is really bad. Yeah, not a great field of study or field of work to be in, because basically art and drawing takes an enormous amount of concentration and effort and eye power, because you can get eye fatigue really quickly while doing stuff like, especially on the computer. Have you ever noticed? I definitely have suffered quite a bit for my craft with regards to digital illustration and painting, for that matter. It takes an enormous amount of eye power for me to get stuff done. I do have glasses, but again, it's just one of those deals where I have tried to find the best way of doing things, and 3 drawings is plenty for me. Do I do other drawings during the day to kind of help me along? Yeah, if I'm not working on stuff like turnaround, I do a lot of turnarounds. And believe it or not, turnarounds have helped me with 3-dimensional thought and puzzle solving, because a turnaround is basically a puzzle, because you have to think 3-dimensionally. You're looking at an object on a piece of paper in a front view. You have to imagine the side view, and you're thinking proportion, you're thinking volumes, you're thinking relationship and perspective, you're thinking shape language, you're thinking all these things, especially whenever you're designing something or creating something to be sculpted, which I do a lot of in my professional career. A lot of sculpting, a lot of toy creation, a lot of 3-dimensional thought, and it's helped me in drawing. And I would encourage you, if you are a 3D artist only, that you add some drawing elements to your repertoire, because it'll help you. Some 3Ds guys are like, I don't need any drawing, I got my 3Ds. Yeah, but I think everything, whenever it comes to being a creator of stuff, has the potential to help you. And if you're constantly in that mindset of learning, then you'll suddenly look around and you'll be far away from the person or artist you were previously before you started such endeavors. It is just one of those deals where I've kind of really endeavored to be different, and I definitely encourage you to do the same. So you can always say this is a phrase that I picked up. Of course, it was done in jest, but there is truth to it. You're unique just like everybody else. Yeah. And you're like, how dare you? How dare you say that I'm just like everybody else? It is amazing how we as human beings share so much of our likes and dislikes, but on some things we just cannot find common ground. It is a challenge for sure, and it's been going on since the dawn of time. I'm sure in the cave you've got Ethel and Grog trying to build a family and one of the kids mouths off or something, or whatever. I don't know. We're talking Cro-Magnon, man. And Ethel's like, basically, do you mind if I put this decoration up? And Grog's like, no like. I'm being silly, of course. I don't know what they talk like, but. And then the argument. Anyway, silliness for sure. So, finding this anchor point up here and then referencing everything to it is kind of where I'm at. I'm thinking anatomy. Weight, balance. All those things come together because I'm not going down the checklist. I don't have a mental checklist of stuff that needs to happen in the drawing. Whenever you'll see me stop and I'll look and then I'll maybe move to another area, that is basically a mental evaluation and a feeling check. Does this feel right? And that feeling comes with a lot of drawing and experience. And sometimes we as artists don't have the capacity to verbalize said feeling. I can't tell you how many times I have been in a meeting, an art meeting, with somebody that was not an artist and didn't know how to verbalize, or an artist that basically did not have a lot of experience. Maybe they were green, maybe they never invested in the verbalization of their craft, because that is important, by the way. You have to be able to verbalize what you're trying to get across, especially to those that are laymen, meaning they don't understand the artworks and they go on feeling. Can't tell you how many times I've had not only clients but adults as well as art directors. Not so much art directors, because if you're an art director position, you basically you've done a few things to get there and you have some capacity for thought and verbalization. But a lot of times those that are not in the art field and have been put in positions over you, such as a production manager, it doesn't look very cool. You need to make it look cooler. Really? What does that even mean? And then, of course, me being mouthy, because I want to know. I want to know what cool is. So my initial question to them is, oh, okay. Can you please define cool? Because if you want it to look cooler, I need to know what cool is from your perspective. What is cool? Can you define that? Ooh, that's not a question that you want to ask somebody that doesn't understand how to explain what cool is. I don't know, just make it look cooler. And then they get mad. So, I have put in my tool belt of verbalizations because I'm a word guy. If you haven't recognized already, I'm a word guy as well as a speech guy. I like to verbalize and to have things very clearly, at least so I understand them. I have put in my tool belt questions that will help said layman to better verbalize what they're trying to get across. So what do you like about the piece? Oh, I like how the lines go up and down. Okay. That's good. I like how much character it has. I like the color. See, they're starting to use those words that you understand as an artist. One of the best traits an artist can have is the ability to draw out some of those items that said layman can't verbalize on their own. It's almost like coaxing an infant. Come on, it's okay. To eat. or to tell you what they want. What do you want? Come on, it's okay. And I'm not being rude, but I'm being a little, I don't know the word or the terminology. Some people are like, I know the terminology right now, buddy. You're being an what? No. It's part of my job to direct you. It's as a artist, I'm trying to get the best out of you I can to get the clearest direction, because I want to get you what you want. And if you can't verbalize that, it is up to me to pull it. Because early in my career, I didn't know what cool was. I still don't know what cool is. Just tell me what you want. Put a little bit of a foreground, because there's a myriad of different penguin types. And the reality is, we associate penguins with snow. And there are penguins that don't live in the snow. Island penguins, forest penguins, penguins on the moon. I'm just kidding, they're not on the moon. Whew. People take me so seriously. They're on Mars. Penguins are from Mars. Everybody knows that. I kid because I can. So I know I've kind of went off on a couple tangents as it pertains to art directors, and I love art directors. They are hopefully an art director is a person that is an artist. And has the capacity for directing artists. If you're an art director, I applaud you. Good job. Because you have creative directors, you have art directors, then you have production managers. Sometimes all of those are in one. And the challenges that are involved in mitigating and managing all of those disciplines in one human is ridiculous. That's why a lot of times you'll have a company that is growing, and you'll have individuals that are tasked to do things that maybe they shouldn't. And that is a challenge for sure. This is Penguin Numero dos. A little bit of a darker shadow. Do not sign it. I will come down on you and smack you with a wet noodle. Or a wet squirrel, as some of the Appalachian people say. I'm gonna slap you with a wet squirrel. What? 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 I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? That means you're just gonna get it. Penguin numero 2. Alright, fine, I'll sign. Let me see. 26. And finally, as we come to the end, number 3. So we've done number 1, number 2, and then finally number 3. So I have actually done enough animals in this series to constitute possibly doing a coloring book. We will see how that transpires. That's just another layer of stuff that I need to do. Good grief. Just kidding. But that would be cool, I think, to be able to do something, because I heard somebody say something once that really was like, you know what? Yes. Said, you don't need another project. You need a product. And that is something that I think we as artists, we kind of miss sometimes. what you do has value. And that is something I have really, I don't think I've struggled with it, but actually implementing some of those things has been a challenge for sure. I want to sell what I do, but then again, I have such joy in doing it that sometimes I do it and then I'm ready to move on to the next thing, right? It's that ADHD that kicks in, and I have, if you guys only knew the struggles I've known with regards to ADHD, it is absolutely foul, especially being an adult. And I talk about this with my children because they know, has Dad always been like that? I mean, he's working, then now he's outside working on the car. Wait a minute. Now he's on the bike, on the tread. Wait a minute. Now he's sculpting something? It is something that I've dealt with my entire life, and as I've gotten older, I have found that I have a raging case of ADHD, and I've had it pretty much all my life. I was also probably in the spectrum of autism because I had a severe inability with sound, inability to focus, textures, clothes. I couldn't handle all of those things when I was younger. And after we've gone through the gamut with my daughter, we realize that I displayed a lot of the same things, and I probably passed that on to her without even knowing, and that is something that I had to deal with, and I found efficiencies, meaning I found my way. And I talked to my daughter about that and saying, yeah, I had the inability to do certain things, and then I found my way because I had to. In college, I could not speak in front of people. It was absolutely debilitating. I could not speak in front of people. I could not be in front of people. I basically wanted to be in my own world. Hence the reason why I kind of gravitated towards art, because I can stay in my studio and nobody bothers me. But that's not the real world. You have to somehow be in the real world in some way. And I found efficiencies, meaning I found my way. I was able to, I remember my first foray into speech class was debilitating. I would actually physically get sick on speech day, and I ended up dropping the class, and you have to have speech to graduate, so I had to buck up, buttercup, and find a way to do it. And I did that by joining a singing group that performed a lot. And we did it in front of people. We were performed, and I found that it really helped alleviate some of the anxieties I had with regards to being in front of other human beings. And eventually I was able to work that out and work around it and find a way to do it. And eventually I was in plays and little college performances, and I had solos, and I had juries, and I had all those things in front of other humans that normally a person in the condition that I was in, which was pretty bad, would not be able to work through. But I was able to do it because I recognized if I didn't do something, it would rule me. And something just rose up and said, no more. And that ability now to be in front of people is second nature. I can be in front of people, I can talk, teach, and do all those things, which is some of the most wonderful things to do. And yeah. And I encourage my daughter, who is wonderful. She's one of the most incredible people I know, and she has overcome so much, mainly because her mother and I probably were just so stinking ignorant about everything. We pushed her into it. And it being situations such as going to the theme park and taking her on theme park rides, which probably wasn't the best idea, because it was too much. And of course, me having already experienced that, and I didn't know anything about autism and what it does. And there's varying degrees, don't get me wrong, there's varying degrees of autism. And my daughter had they call her high functioning, and still has high functioning. So she has, in some capacity, a heightened ability to do certain things, such as her memory. Her memory is unbelievable. I mean, just really incredible. But she's very gullible in terms of being coerced into something. And she doesn't look at bigger pictures. She's a 3-footer. So, meaning we've tried her driving, and she gets overstimulated very quickly, and she separates. So I can relate to that. But her mother and I pushed her, and now she's able to do things that is pretty remarkable. I mean, theme parks are not an issue. She loves roller coasters. To an extent, she knows, and she tells us whenever she's done. She's like, no, I'm done. Okay. She's not much of a how do I put it, advocator. So I call her I say that she's a mouse, and that mouse mentality she has to work past, meaning she can't be a mouse in a corner. She has to self-advocate and speak up for herself. It's like, I remember once she was crying, and I can relate to this because I did the same thing, crying, and I'm like, honey, what's wrong? I have to go to the bathroom. Honey, all you have to do is tell somebody. Tell us you need to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom. Okay. But she couldn't work out the process of telling somebody that she had to go to the bathroom, and instead she was suffering. Now she doesn't do anything like that. This was early on. Now she doesn't do anything like that, but she's one of, if not the most impressive humans I think I've ever come across, because she has overcome so many aspects of the diagnosis that the doctors and the psychiatrist gave her to really be an incredible human being. And I can't speak enough about her. Did I make some mistakes? Yeah, because we had our children young. I was in my 20s when we had her, and I was trying to build a career, trying to make ends meet, and I didn't recognize a lot of the signs. And then we didn't have her tested until she was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and we just thought, oh, Michaela, that's my daughter's name, Michaela, that's just who she is. Boy, were we wrong. And we endeavored to help her out and got her the best care, as well as doing what we could to help her. You will meet people that you will think are weird in your life, and you'll tend to want to stay away from those people. But a lot of times it's the weird ones that really are the brightest lights. And my daughter is a light. She's a light to those around her. She inspires, and definitely is an overcomer. For sure. Working out the flannel elements here. On this particular penguin. This penguin lives in the forest. One of my favorite movies. Surf's Up! That's what this penguin is. Surf's Up, a Surf's Up penguin. So fascinating. That movie made me laugh in so many ways. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Rent it, stream it, whatever you need to do. It is a delightful movie to watch. Especially, oh my gosh, just the interaction of Shia LaBeouf's character. And there's a character called Tank. Oh my gosh. I almost lost my laugh box because I laughed so hard whenever he was talking about his ladies. Look it up. It is absolutely hilarious. Oh my gosh. My wife's like, honey, stop it. You can't laugh that hard. What are you talking about? I can't laugh that hard. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. So much fun, so much fun, so much fun. Drawing is so much fun. Thought I was going to go high, didn't you? Too early in the morning to go high. There you go. You happy? It's a little bit of embarrassment. I don't mind embarrassing myself these days. I ain't like the same person I was 10 years ago. I just don't mind. They say that once you reach a certain age, that your inhibitions, something happens, right? That pause. I had a relative of mine, his phrase that he actually coined and he started using a lot, which I'm not so sure about that. Of course, at the time, I was not the age he was referencing, because he would say, I'm over 50, so I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that in and of itself is quite wrong. So in other words, you're going to be rude. I'm like, maybe you need a timeout. But now that I'm older, I know what he was talking about, because you just get to a point in your life where the pleasantries are gone, and that's how you get smacked in the face, or that's how you get into situations that you really should not have put you in, especially at the age you are. Don't talk to people like that. So, once again, I will say this whole process has been a delight, and we will continue on with cartoon characters from animation, from, dare I say it, I'm going to say it, it's going to happen. Anime? People are like, what? 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 Anime? What? Maybe we'll do some anime stuff. I don't know. I just don't know. I did like Vampire Hunter D back in the day. Like, when was that? Like 2000s? 80s? I think that's an 80s anime. People are like, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon. No, I'm not drawing Sailor Moon. I tend to stay away from all the hypersexual stuff, just because it's not my jam. I can do it, but I don't like to. I don't need to be drawing all that business. But yeah, we'll be drawing some cartoon characters, starting out with some classics, moving on to the obscure, because I do have 30 days, well, It's 5 days a week, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So 20 days of drawings in the month of February. Actually, it's abbreviated because it's 28 days in the month of February. But maybe I'll throw in a weekend drawing or two. I don't know. But hopefully you've liked these drawings. We've done a lot. I've enjoyed them. Hopefully you've enjoyed them and learned something. That's really my heart in all this. Learning something, learning process, learning and showing that a little bit every day. Look at this. I mean, we started this endeavor and now look where we are. Just by doing a little bit every morning. And for those of you, if you follow along, maybe you follow along and send me some pictures, because I'm trying to inspire you to be better, do more, do something. This year is different for me. I remember back in 2014 when we had some family challenges and my mom left us. I had a moment. That's when everything changed. Everything in my life changed. Well, 2012 is when she left us, but 2014 is basically when everything changed. Everything. My job, place where I lived, my outlook on what I was doing. Worked for Disney, started designing toys, and a lot of that was attributed to that wall that you saw whenever I first started the intro. I started drawing every day. Every day I drew something. And that opened the door. It opened the door to Disney. It opened the door to Universal. It opened the door to Warner Brothers. I'd worked for them before, but not in the capacity that I was going to be working for them. And then I started freelancing, and I freelanced for 11 years. Make 2026 your year. Make it. Do it. Try it. And don't expect it to happen overnight. It took 2 years to break through. 3 years, 4 years. Just know that what you're doing is being seen. And eventually someone will say, because you'll improve, someone will say, wow, did you see that stuff that Mike Clarida was doing on LinkedIn? Wow, he's got a passion. And people are drawn towards passion. Find your passion, guys. You got this. Be encouraged. And show up on Monday morning, because we're going to do some cartoon characters. Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, if you like this whole series. And please go out and do something fun today. Draw something. Change your life. Have a good one. Bye.